The room was dark, smelled like oil, metal, and fear. Hundreds of beings sat on stone seats in silence. In the middle, under a harsh white light, stood a young alien girl. Her skin was soft silver, her eyes wide and scared. Chains covered her. Hands, legs, and neck, a loud voice echoed in many languages. Next item for sale, strong, young, perfect health. Only 19 cycles old. She didn't look up. Her heart was beating fast. Just don't cry, she told herself. Crying makes them hurt you more. This was the fourth time she was being sold. She knew the pattern. The buyer always smiled in public, then became a monster in private. Some clapped, some laughed. One alien shouted, "I'll train her to be silent." Another added, "I'll break her in one day." She closed her eyes. She hated them all. Then, silence. A calm voice said, "I'll take her." Everyone turned. An old human man stood there. He looked different. No anger, no greed, just diet. He wore a brown coat, dusty boots, and had tired eyes. The auctioneer blinked. "Sir, do you wish to—" "Yes," the man sighed. "Payment transferred. I'll take her now." No one else argued. The chains were removed, and she was pushed toward him. She didn't fight. What was the point? They walked in silence toward his ship. She kept her head down, waiting for the first hit, but he didn't touch her. His ship was small, old, but clean. The doors opened, and warm air came out, soft lights. No shouting. No cages. He said nothing. Took her to a small room. "Sit," he said, pointing at a chair. He knelt down and carefully removed the collar from her neck. It clicked open and dropped to the floor. She stared at him. He didn't look angry. Didn't look pleased either. "You're safe now," he said quietly. "I won't hurt you." She didn't believe him. No one ever meant those words. The next morning, she woke up slowly. Soft bed, clean blanket, no chains. She touched her neck. No collar. She jumped up. The door was open. A test, she thought. Or a trap? She stepped out. The hallway was quiet. She followed the smell of food. The man stood at the kitchen counter, making something. When he saw her, he just nodded. "You eat eggs?" he asked. She didn't answer. He put a plate on the table anyway. "Eat. You're free to leave anytime." "Free?" She didn't move. She stared at him like he was a dangerous animal. "Why?" she finally whispered. He looked at her. "No one deserves to live in chains," he said. She didn't believe him. That night, when he was asleep, she searched the ship. No weapons, no security, no cages. She found a small room with old books and pictures. One photo showed a young human girl, smiling, holding a flower. Behind her, the same man years younger. The alien girl stared at the photo. Her heart beat fast. That human girl looked like her. Same eyes, same smile. She stepped back, confused. Who was she to him? The next day, she asked, "Was she your daughter?" The man nodded. "She was taken, years ago, by the same kind of people who sold you." She looked at him closely. For the first time, she saw pain in his eyes. He added, "I searched for her. I never found her, but when I saw you, I couldn't leave you there." She didn't speak. Her mind was spinning. "Are you trying to replace her?" she asked. "No," he said. "No one can replace her. But I couldn't watch someone else suffer the same way." She turned away. Tears came without warning. That night, she couldn't sleep. His words were different. His actions were different, but her past screamed inside her head. Don't trust him. They always turn. Still, something in her heart whispered, maybe he's not like the others. As she stared at the stars from the window, she said quietly to herself, "If this is another trick, I'll run, but if it's real, maybe I'm not just a thing anymore." She didn't know yet, but her life was about to change forever. The ship floated silently through deep space like a ghost in the dark. Inside, the alien girl sat by the window watching stars slide past, but her mind wasn't calm. Her fingers gripped the edge of the chair. Her breath was shallow. She had to leave. She didn't trust this peace. Peace was always fake. In her world, kindness had a price. The human man had given her food, clothes, and a bed. He hadn't touched her once, hadn't shouted, hadn't locked a single door, but that's what made it more dangerous. No one gave freedom for nothing. There, Was always a catch. That night, when the man fell asleep in his pilot seat, she made her move. No shoes. No noise. She slipped into the storage bay, grabbed a coat, found an emergency beacon. Then she pressed the button to unlock the outer hatch. Cold air hit her like ice. The ship was parked on a quiet moon. No cities. No lights, just gray rocks, silver dust, and endless silence. She stepped outside. Her feet sank into soft soil. Above her, stars blinked like distant eyes. She ran. No plan. No destination. Just run. Her lungs burned, her legs hurt. But she kept going until she fell. Hard. She rolled down a small hill and landed beside a rock. Her arm was bleeding. The beacon had cracked. She sat up slowly, eyes wide, and for the first time, she felt something new. Not fear. Not anger. Loneliness. Real, heavy, empty loneliness. She was free. Yes. But free where? In the middle of a dead moon? She looked around. Nothing moved. No one was coming. The stars watched, but they didn't care. She pulled her coat tight and tried to stop shaking. Hours passed. She heard footsteps. Her heart jumped. Was it slave hunters? Wild animals? No. It was him. The man. He stood quietly a few feet away, coat blowing in the cold wind. His flashlight pointed at the ground. I didn't follow. You, he said softly. Your blood did? She looked away. You could have locked the ship, she whispered. I know. She stared at him, confused. Why? She asked. Because freedom means you get to choose, he said. He bent down and handed her a small silver packet. Food. Warmed from his pocket. She took it slowly. They didn't speak for a long time, just sat beside each other under the stars. Finally, she asked, Why did you come? He looked up at the sky. Because I was afraid you'd freeze to death. Why? Do you care? I don't know, he said. Maybe because no one cared when my daughter disappeared. She turned her head slowly. You still think I look like her? He nodded. But that's not why I helped you. Then why? He looked at her, tired eyes glowing in the dim light. Because you're alive. That should be enough. She felt something crack inside her. Not her bones. Not her skin, her armor, the hard, cold armor she had built around her heart. She wiped her face quickly, but he had already seen the tears. He didn't say anything. He just stood and offered his hand. Come. Back to the ship, he said. Only if you want to. She looked at his hand for a long time. Then, slowly, she took it. Back inside, he gave her clean bandages. A hot drink. She didn't talk. He didn't ask before going to bed. She looked at him and said, I don't trust you yet. He nodded. You don't have to. But I'm tired of running. Then rest. She paused. Then added softly, I'll stay. For now. And for the first time in her life, she said it not out of fear, but choice. The ship felt different now. It didn't feel like a prison anymore. It didn't feel like home either. It just existed, and she existed inside it. Every morning, the man cooked something. The food was strange to her, eggs, beans, black drink. He called coffee, but she ate in silence. He never forced her to talk. He never touched her. He just placed her plate on the table and left space for her to breathe. Days passed. Then a week. The silence between them slowly changed. Not sharp silence. Soft silence. One day she walked into the control room while he was fixing wires. She stood there, watching him without turning. He said, Want to help? She hesitated, then nodded. He showed her how to press buttons, connect cables, read maps. His voice was calm, slow, like teaching a child, and he never yelled, not even when she made mistakes. Once, she dropped a metal tool. It made a loud crash. She froze, heart racing, waiting for anger, but he just smiled. Loud, isn't it? He said. She nodded slowly, then, for the first time, she smiled back. Just a little. At night, she stayed awake, lying in her bed, staring at the ceiling. Why is he like this? Why hasn't he asked for anything? What does he want from me? She didn't have answers, but her fear was softer now, not gone, just quieter. One day, she found a small book beside his chair. It had drawings of planets and animals, handwritten notes, and in the back, a poem. It said, Not all broken things need fixing. Some just need someone to sit beside them until the storm passes. She read it twice. Then again, her hands shook. Had he written this for himself? For her? She closed the book slowly and placed it back. Later that day, while cleaning dishes, she asked, "You always live alone?" He nodded. "Since the war." "What war?" "The one that took my daughter, my crew, my planet." She looked at him, quiet, careful. "Do you miss them?" She asked. "Every day," he said. "Then why aren't you angry?" He shrugged. "Anger is heavy. I got tired of carrying it." She looked down at her hands. "So many scars. I still carry mine." He looked at her, kind eyes, no pity. "Just truth. Then I'll carry some of it for you." That night, she didn't close her door, not because she forgot, because she felt safe. The next morning, something new happened. She laughed. He was trying to cook a strange alien fruit, and it exploded in the pan. His face was covered in purple goo. She covered her mouth, surprised by the sound that came out. Then she laughed again. Loud, full, real. He chuckled too. "Okay, maybe I can't cook everything." It was a small moment, but to her it was magic. Later they sat together in the control room, watching a comet pass by the window. He said, "You ever name stars?" She shook her head. He pointed at one small, blinking light. "That one," he said. "We'll call it yours." She looked at it. A tear rolled down her cheek before she could stop it. "You don't even know my name," she whispered. He turned to her. "Then tell me, only if you want." She took a breath. "I was called Lara before they took me." "Lyra?" he repeated, like it was the most precious sound in the galaxy. She nodded. "Don't forget it. I won't." That night, as the ship floated through silence and stars, Lyra slept deeply. No nightmares. No fear. Just a dream of stars with names and a voice that finally called her something other than slave. Asterisk. The ship was quiet again, but this silence felt different. It wasn't empty. It was full of unspoken words, of things waiting. Lyra moved through the ship like she belonged there now. She made tea in the mornings. She cleaned without being asked, and sometimes she hummed songs from her childhood. Just soft sounds that filled the air like warm light. The man who still hadn't told her his name watched her quietly. Not with hunger, not with control. Just with a kind of calm sadness. Like someone afraid to break something already cracked. One evening, a storm hit. Not on the ship, but on the outside world. They were parked near a gas moon to recharge. Winds howled. Lightning danced through space like dragons made of fire inside. The ship, everything shook. Lights flickered. Lyra gasped and backed into a wall. Old memories hit her like a slap, a whip cracking. A dark cell, screams, chains, cold hands. Her breathing grew fast. The man rushed in. "It's okay," he said. "It's just the storm." But she didn't hear him. She slid to the floor, hugging her knees, her eyes wide. Her body shaking. He froze, didn't touch her, didn't grab her. Instead, he sat down a few feet away, quiet, still, letting her know, "I'm here. But I won't come closer unless you say so." After many minutes, her breath slowed. She looked at him through teary eyes. He said nothing, only offered his hand. She stared at it. Slowly, slowly, she reached out and touched it. Warm, gentle, real. It was the first time she had touched someone without fear, the first time. She wanted to. Later, in the small kitchen, she whispered, "Why haven't you ever tried to touch me before?" He stirred his tea, thought for a moment. "Because I know what it feels like. When someone takes your body and leaves your soul behind." She looked down softly. She said, "They broke me." "No," he said, looking into her eyes. "You're still here. That means you're stronger than all of them." Tears filled her eyes again, but this time, they didn't hurt. That night, she walked into the common room where he always read. Before bed. She stood near the chair, quiet, unsure. He looked up. "Can I sit here?" she asked. He nodded. She sat beside him, not close, not far. Just enough. Silence passed between them. Then she reached out and placed her hand on his. No fear. Just truth. He didn't move, didn't breathe. Just let her be the one to decide. She didn't say thank you. She didn't need to. That touch was everything. They sat like that for a long time. Two broken souls, one simple moment, and somewhere in the silence, trust bloomed. The stars didn't feel safe anymore, not when shadows started to move in them. Lyra felt it before it happened, a cold in her bones, a tightness in her chest. Something was coming. The man whom she now called Captain had gone out to repair a broken wing panel. Lyra stayed inside, scanning signals like he taught her. That's when she heard it, a pulse, faint, ugly, familiar. Her hands shook. She knew that sound. It was the hunter code, used by slave ships to track and reclaim lost property, her property tag. They must have reactivated it. They were coming for her. She ran outside. Captain, she shouted. He looked up, wiping oil from his gloves. What is it, slave hunters? She said, breathless. They found me. He froze. Just for a second. Then he moved fast like a soldier, remembering who he used to be. Get inside. Lock the doors. Do not open them for anyone but me. Inside, Lyra watched from the window as two black ships appeared like shadows from the stars, their engines silent, their lights red. They landed hard. Like predators, men in armor stepped out. Tall, brutal, faces hidden by masks. They carried whips that burned with blue fire. The captain stood between them and the ship. Alone. Unarmed. Laughed. You really thought you could hide her? One said. She's marked. She's owned. She's not property, he replied. Not anymore. She belongs to the Hearn Syndicate. She belongs to herself. That's when they hit him. Hard. Lyra screamed and reached for the door. Her hands hovered over the button, but his voice echoed in her head. Do not open it. Unless it's me. She froze. Outside, they punched him again. Blood on his face. They were going to take her. Use her. Kill him. She couldn't watch. So she did the one thing she had never done in her life. She chose to fight back. She ran to the engine room, opened the case. He told her never to open. Inside, a weapon, old, heavy, human-made. She grabbed it. Hands shaking. She wasn't trained. She was scared, but not helpless. Not anymore. She opened the door. The men turned. She stepped out. Gun raised. I'm not going with you, she said. One of them laughed. You think we fear a pet with a toy? She fired. Missed. They lunged. But before they could reach her, the captain rose from the ground, slammed one of them with a wrench. The other swung at him, but Lyra fired again. This time hit. Sparks, screams, silence. The hunters lay on the ground, unconscious, breathing, but broken. She dropped the gun, fell to her knees, shaking. The captain limped toward her. You okay? He asked. No, she whispered. But I'm free. He nodded, wiping blood from his mouth. Yes, you are. Later, inside the ship, he stitched his arm. She cleaned his face. She didn't cry. He didn't flinch. There was no fear between them anymore. Just pain. And love, quiet and unspoken, but strong like steel. That night, she sat beside him in silence, then said, You almost died for me. He looked at her, tired, proud. I would again, he said, and she believed him, for the first time in her life. She believed someone meant it. Space was quiet again, but inside Lyra, nothing was quiet, not her mind, not her heart, not anymore. Days had passed since the attack. The wounds were healing, but not the questions. Why did the hunters call her marked? Why were they so sure she belonged to someone important? And why? Did the captain look so calm afterward, like he wasn't surprised? She started noticing things. Little things. The way he avoided eye contact when she mentioned her past. How he already knew her blood type. How he flinched the moment she said the name Hearn Syndicate. Something wasn't right. She felt it in her bones. Late one night, while he was sleeping, she crept into the storage bay, opened a locked drawer she had seen him use before. Inside, an old datapad, password protected, but he had taught her enough. It took her 10 minutes. And then a file appeared. Her name, her real name, Larathina of House Kale. Noble class, royal bloodline. Reported kidnapped 12 cycles ago from the Urani Nebula. Not a slave. Princess. Her hands trembled. There were more files. Scans. DNA records. An old missing poster her face when she was just a child. And then a journal entry. If this is her, I can't tell her. Not yet. She needs to feel free before she knows what she was born to be. It was in the captain's voice. Lyra stood frozen. So many things rushed into her head. He knew the whole time, and he said nothing the next morning. She didn't eat. She didn't speak. She just stood in the doorway while he fixed the power grid. He looked up. Saw the datapad in her hand. He didn't panic, didn't lie. He just sighed. You found it, he said. You lied to me, she whispered. I protected you, he replied. You hid me from myself. He nodded, slow and quiet. Yes. Silence wrapped around them like a storm ready to break. Finally she asked, why? His voice was calm. Because the galaxy doesn't care who you were born as. It only cares who you are now. I wanted you to choose. Choose what? To live free, not because of a crown, but because you're a person. She looked at him with eyes full of betrayal. But I wasn't just a person to you. Was I? His voice cracked. You reminded me of the daughter I lost. But I swear, Lyra, I never saw you as hers, only as you. Her heart was torn in two. One side, furious. The other, still reaching for the man who saved her. She turned to leave. He didn't stop her, but before she walked away, he said, You? Don't need me anymore, that's good. But if you go, take this. He held out a small metal chip. She didn't move. It's the key to your past, he said. Coordinates to your home, your real one. That night she sat in her room, chip in hand. Tears in her eyes, one truth in her heart. He lied to protect her, and maybe she was still angry, but she was also something more. Free. In the darkness, she whispered to the stars, I'm not a slave, not a pet, not a lost child. I'm Lyrathena, and for the first time, the name didn't feel like a story. It felt real. It felt hers. The ship flew through quiet space. No chase. No war. No chains. Just silence. And a choice. Lyra stood in front of the window, holding the chip, her history, her bloodline, her royal name. All inside one glowing piece of metal. The coordinates were loaded into the system. Just one push, and she'd be on the path back to her homeworld. Back to the life stolen from her. Riches, status, family name, but her hands didn't move. Not yet. Behind her, the captain sat at the table. He didn't speak, didn't ask. Did and single quote, because he knew the choice was hers now, only hers. She turned to him. You should come with me, she said. He shook his head gently. They won't want me there, he said. I'm no one to them. You're someone to me. His eyes softened, but he didn't smile. You don't need me anymore. She stepped closer. That's not the same as not wanting you. A soft silence filled the ship. Outside, the stars watched like old gods. Lyra sat across from him, chip still in her hand. I always thought freedom meant escape, she said. Running away, breaking walls, cutting chains. He listened, but now I think freedom means something else. He tilted his head. What? She looked up. It means choosing where your heart belongs. They landed 2 days later, not on her homeworld, but on a small green planet, unclaimed, unnamed, untouched. No cities. No kings, no crowns. Just water, trees, a wide, open sky. They stepped off the ship together. She breathed the air. Fresh. Free. They built a home slowly, with hands that once only knew how to survive. They planted roots in the ground. And in each other, one night, beside a small fire under the stars, she placed her hand on his. Not with fear, not with pain, just quiet love. He looked at her. I still see her, he whispered. My daughter, in your smile sometimes. She nodded. And I still see the girl I used to be. But she doesn't control me anymore. He smiled, just a little. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if I never walked into that auction? She looked up at the sky, full of stars they never named. Then I'd still be a slave, she said. Not to chains, but to fear? Her voice became soft. But you gave me something no one ever did. He looked at her gently. What? She met his eyes. Permission to be whole. The camera would fade out here, if this were a film, 2 figures, sitting by a fire, a home behind them, a past behind them. A future wide open. In the quiet night, Lyra whispered, I wasn't rescued, I was reborn. And beside her the man said nothing, because he knew that was the real ending.